don't even know what to tell you, bro. Did you hear about COVID? I don't know. What the fuck? Seems like everybody's just like scared. Have you ever noticed, like, you go out in the streets and everybody's just
people are terrified.
Fear.
People are terrified, man. People are very terrified.
Like,
and it's all across the board though, because you'll see people who don't give a fuck, who are like in their own world. You know, they're vibing. They're outside. They're walking, and it's like, it's refreshing because you're like, oh, that person doesn't really care about COVID. And then the next person you see, double masked up, double cheeked up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially the ones that are in their own car by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Those are the type of people I can't stand, bro. But
I understand that if you're like Uber driving all the time and like you're already used to kind of doing that. But yeah. The thing is, they don't really clarify to anybody. Like Doug Ford, anyone on TV, the health ministers, they don't clarify, like, you know, you don't have to wear your mask all the time. You know, you don't have to wear the mask in the shower. You know, you can go outside and get fresh air. Like, you would think that people naturally, like, know that, but they don't clarify that to people.
It doesn't seem like the rules are clear anywhere. Like, I honestly believed that we actually had, like, a ground rule, a charter, like, or like something that can be infringed upon, you know?
Right.
But lately, like in 2020, going on to 2021, I realized, like, that is like toilet paper as of late. Like, our rights have been thrown out the window, kaput, gone, and
no one cares.
And people think that protesting is gonna do something when they're locking you up for protesting now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And what I can't get is, you know, we're a little different because, like, we're engaged with politics a little bit. You know, like we've kind of been there. We're interested in it. We're keeping our finger on the pulse. But so many people are inside collecting CERB, going to LCBO, and they're like not even questioning anything going on. Like they just got their gamer tag. They're like, yo, I got Wi-Fi. I'm gaming. Like, bro.
Dude,
don't worry about all this like freedom stuff. Don't worry. Oh yeah, okay. Like we're gonna go back to normal once we lock down for 2 more weeks. It's like, bro, you think we're just gonna get all of our freedoms back? Like, how high are you?
Fam.
How high are you?
Pretty high, because the only things that are open here is dispensaries and LCBOs and your local Walmart and Costco, really and truly. So you ain't got much options but to be high and just stay home.
It's so
and smoke
good.
Weed.
It's so good to see you like in person, IRL. I gotta
IRL.
Say,
Yeah.
I saw you today. I gave him a hug.
Yeah. No homo. I'm just joking.
But like, the last time I saw you, it might have been like a year ago. I guess I saw you one time. Did I see? I don't think I did. It's so weird because like we have these video calls, and we're so starving for like social interaction that our brains like I saw D. Yeah, we caught up. I caught up with D, but we didn't in real life.
Yeah,
we just had a video call on Instagram or some shit, and like our brains are like, we caught up because we saw him in real life.
Yeah,
no, we didn't.
There's like people I haven't seen for like the last year. I don't know if they're dead or alive or not, but I'm not like contacting people anymore really. It's just crazy. If I contact people nowadays, it's just like okay, what are you up to? Same thing you're up to.
What new shows are you watching?
Basically, what new shows are you watching on fucking Netflix or Amazon Prime?
It's sad, man. It's really sad. I embrace that too. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? I just started watching Sopranos. Okay? Like, that's what's going on. There's a lot going on in my life right now. Shit. I don't know if you've ever seen Sopranos, but I'm kind of really busy right now.
Sopranos is a good show. If you haven't watched it, just check it out. The fuck? It's like saying you haven't watched The Wire. You know what I mean? These are shows that people are actually, culture references that people are actually not in the pop culture are catching up on now.
There's so much shit on Netflix, and I think that most of it will be forgotten and lost in the sands of time. But certain shows, timeless classics. I feel like Sopranos fits into that. Yeah. I feel like, I don't know.
What new shows do you think that would fit into that?
News shows?
New brand new shows. Like in the last year.
I haven't been watching new shows because I have to watch old shows like Sopranos that are like classics, and I have to know my. I haven't even seen The Wire. I've heard obviously great things, but
oh shit.
The thing is, there's
Wire, bro.
There's different types of shows. Okay,
Yeah.
There's the ones where it's like an hour-long episodes. You know, this is commitment. Okay, this is like reading a book at this point.
It's true.
And then there's like the light comedies, they're 20 minutes, or like the light dramas and they're 20 minutes. I'm actually juggling. I'm actually seeing 2 different shows right now. You know, I'm seeing Sopranos, but when I'm feeling lighter, I'm watching 30 Rock. Shoutouts to Crave TV.
I won't tell the other show. Don't worry, Greg. I won't tell the other show that you're watching.
Don't tell them.
But yo, fam, it's crazy. Like,
yeah, what does this come to? We're talking about TV shows, like that's
there's nothing else that we can talk about.
Our reality.
Our core of our center of our reality now has come down to what are we binging on Netflix?
Yeah, I haven't even asked you like how your son is.
Yeah,
you know, like I probably should have asked about that.
Should start with family. Like, yeah, how's your mom and dad? You know what I mean? Like, we should be asking questions.
No, what season are you on? What season? What episode? Oh, I saw that one.
Have you watched Attack on Titan? No, dummy. I'm too busy watching Attack on Democracy. God damn it. Yo.
Oh, man.
Holy shit. I don't know what else I could say, but, like, before, when I was younger, I used to realize, okay, yo, there are, like, good people, bad people, smart people, stupid people, mixed all in, like, populations everywhere across the globe, right?
Different, yeah.
Now I realized there's the brainwashable and then just the average people that are fighting against the brainwashing. There's only 2 groups.
I feel like, you know, people talk about left, right, left wing, right wing, and liberal, conservative, and like sometimes it just feels like people who are indoctrinated.
Yeah.
And people who are like not indoctrinated.
Doesn't even matter if you call yourself liberal, conservative. You're prescribing to a complete absolute take, and you're gonna vote sometimes not even on your own integrity or your morals. You're just trying to like put that blue card in there or that red card in there so that you're
validated somehow.
Yeah, so you validate, I'm a conservative or I'm a liberal and I voted this way.
It's weird. It's a weird like conformity thing almost. It's like, oh, like especially in Canada, right?
Yeah.
From the liberal-minded people I know, it's like I need to vote liberal to like fit in. You know, like of course I'm a good person.
Yeah.
So of course I'm going to vote liberal.
Shit.
And it's just kind of like that made sense maybe at one certain point, but like not anymore. And like, you know, you call out liberal corruption or whatever, and it's so annoying because what do they say? Well, the conservatives are worse. The conservatives are worse.
But the what ifs, the what abouts, what about so and so and some shit.
Well, the conservatives are worse. The conservatives are worse.
But the what ifs, the what abouts, what about so and so and some shit like that. I don't know, man. Like the conservatives are bad. Liberals are bad. They're all terrible, really. Yeah. NDP, Green Party, whatever you want. Like they're all equally, if not terrible and suspicious to our everyday like
sus.
Like so sus.
The House of Commons is
so
sus. The entire House of Commons is sus.
Because there is no actual opposition at this point. Like the conservatives or the liberals or the NDP, they all are like technically working with each other. And I don't even know, like before it used to be about like, yo, there is like an actual opposition to something and they bring a debate or the moral standing on what they stand upon, whether they be liberal, whether they be conservative, whether it be NDP or Green Party. Now all I'm just hearing is a whole bunch of like pandering to the masses on some fear shit. Like as long as you can, it's who sells fear the best.
Yeah, it's definitely marketing.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of like marketing involved.
It is
all this weird marketing language, and like the worst part is that it's all just, you're right, it's all just theater. People are like, it seems like they're just working together to fuck us all over.
Yeah.
And it's been like, it's such amateur hour in Canada too.
They figured us out.
Like they don't need a Project Veritas in Canada. You just watch what's going on in the House of Commons.
They'll tell you. In your face, they'll tell you.
Did you see how hard they deflected and avoided that question?
Oh my God.
It's sad. It's so sad. Watching clips from the House of Commons is sad. You just watch a clip and it's like, this is a country that we're a meme. Canada is a meme now.
It has become a meme. When you look at like the cabinet when like that's our version of like basically the people that are supposed to be on the highest levels of government.
We call them honorable.
Honorable
this, honorable that. It's like, this guy's a snake who avoided the question like 50 times over. Why are you calling him honorable?
So, like the heritage minister, you're talking about the one where
there's a lot of them.
Okay,
man.
I want to talk about that specific guy, the heritage minister that was like
Stephen Guilbeault.
Je ne pas parler en français très bien, but I'll give it a go, Mr. Guilbeault. But what I'm trying to say is like, yo, that guy. In that interview when CBC was pressing... Okay, first off, I've never seen CBC press a cabinet minister like this in, like, years. It actually shocked me that I seen a reporter, like, leaning into the Liberals for once.
CBC occasionally gets it right, but I feel like it's more of like a fluke, or it's always an outlying moment whenever CBC gets it right. But these Guilbeault situations, they're not even really... like pressing him hard, like they're asking basic questions that's on everyone's mind. And yeah, credit to to CBC on this part, because it's like, thanks for doing your job. You know, that is your job, to ask the questions that are on everyone's mind. But is it? Are they really even grilling him that bad? Like, I feel like what we think is aggressive by CBC. It's not even that aggressive. Like, we just think it's aggressive because they've been so weak. They've been so, like, you know, milquetoast and plain. Like,
it's because they barely challenge anything, that when they do challenge them at the lightest, it makes us like, wow, they're doing their job. When really, in China, should have been doing it the whole time.
Damn. Are our tax dollars actually funding something that's actually doing something for us?
Like, it may be for 8 minutes, but they're doing something really well for that 8 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, it's subjective. But yo, this guy, the way he was describing how the bill is not gonna affect like freedom of speech and the everyday like Canadians, not less to the content creators, the guys like us that are just pushing out content in Canada. He said that it was gonna be like, you know, something to be beneficial for us. But the way he was describing it, if you go check the clip, it sounds like a cokehead or a crackhead or some kind of addict trying to explain to me how he's gonna get his paycheck and he just needs a loan to get his drugs or some shit.
Yeah, I just need I just need 1 more week, man.
Like, you don't understand.
Yeah. Okay. The thing with this Guilbeault guy, like, with everything, I wish normal Canadians, everyday Canadians, think of it like a job interview. Think of it like it's your buddy or somebody you're meeting in a business scenario.
Yeah.
Would you trust this person if they're speaking like this? Would you hire this person? Would you rehire this person? You know, would you promote this person? These are the people who are like leading our country, and it's like no across the board. I do not want to work with this guy. I don't trust this guy at all. And these are the guys that are like representing us.
That's what I'm saying, man.
He's crazy.
He basically caught, like, I think, like, charges. He got convicted, actually, of mischief, right? And here's the thing, though. Like, your past is your past. People can get convicted. People change, whatnot. I don't really care about that.
It's definitely fun to be like, yo, he's an ex-con.
But here's the thing, though. Ex-cons, or people that have lost their freedom, know more than anybody else that you don't want to, like, impede on other people's freedoms and give them less freedom, because you know what it feels like to have less. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think this guy spent a day in jail, more or less a couple of hours than being processed for bail. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to get at is, like, we got a guy that has been convicted on mischief, trying to take away the freedoms of everyday, and he's appointed to one of the highest offices in the land, and he's going to take over your freedom, impede on your freedom, trying to tell you what you can and cannot say.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And they're trying to dress up the bill as if it's not like going to target Canadians' voices, but really and truly amplify them.
Well, so yeah, I mean, there's 2 internet censorship bills. This is what I think. There's another second internet censorship bill coming. But let's start with the first one that they're talking about. He's just so full of shit. You know, like, everyone's calling him out. hey man, you're not being straight up about this. It looks like you're trying to take our rights away, or at least like you're going to add another layer of like Canadian government to social media platforms. Like social media platforms are already skewed in certain ways that are sketchy, to be quite frank.
Censored to a limit, to a T, because at one hand we don't even like. Okay, the whole thing is they're trying to dress it in a way where they're combating big tech, corporations. That's the whole thing is they're trying to make it look like they're fighting
bullshit,
big tech,
man.
right?
Bullshit.
But really, truly, they're giving big tech more of a platform, more of a power to censor you if you're a political voice, or not even political, if just your view goes against what they feel is deemed, acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of truth for them being like, oh, we're going to try and we're going to try and get money from big tech platforms. And you know why? It's because they are totally losing ad revenue to Facebook and Google. Mm. And, all the media companies in Canada, sorry, your advertising revenue sucks because you're losing to Facebook and Google. So, there's a little, they are trying to get in there and get some money. Mm-hmm. But it's about power. It's about power. We're told, it's going to be a good faith. It's a good faith thing, and we're going to make things more Canadian. We're going to prefer certain Canadian things for you. When you're preferring something, you're excluding other things. Let's talk about what's going on here and who's deciding. Who is deciding?
Let me play devil's advocate. Devil's advocate for a bit.
Let's play devil's advocate.
Let's just say that they are going to amplify Canadian content. The CRTC literally wants to make sure what is actually Canadian are to amplify it. It may actually be beneficial to people like us, right? Content creators. In the essence, in theory, right? Yeah. So why would we be against something like this? Why, if they're gonna give us a bigger piece of the market, bigger piece of the pie, why would we go against it? What would make it unbeneficial for the everyday Canadian that's creating content? Because there's nothing on the bill that says that they're gonna regulate. You know what I mean? To that extreme.
That's a good question. And all I can think of is the basic of why do we trust this government? You know what I mean? And I know that's a very cliche thing, don't trust the government. Yeah. Hey, don't trust the government, you guys. But it's electoral reform didn't happen. We're going to have more honesty and transparency with this liberal Trudeau government. That hasn't happened. There's been more corruption and opaqueness than ever.
There's been transparent corruption, I think.
Well, yeah, it's been
the most
in the open.
I think this is the most transparent fucking government we've had.
We are corrupt pieces of shit.
Yes. We will take away your rights. We will let you know.
Yeah.
But at least we told you, and you will vote for your rights being taken away. I don't get it, though.
But this is the thing, right? Because why I don't like that devil's advocate is that's just going to lead us to more bullshit. Hey guys, let's just trust Justin Trudeau.
Because since when has the government ever done something
especially recently?
When have they ever reined in their power? Really and truly, we have trusted them for our charter rights, which was probably made up in my mom's and dad's lifetime, right? Yeah. The Queen Elizabeth has given it to us, which is still the reigning monarch, right?
Yeah.
So, our charter was made in 1982. Yeah. Right? The thing about that is it's so fresh and new into people's lives that they don't understand that Canada really hasn't had freedom.
Canadians they don't care, man. They don't. The average Canadian, you say Charter of Rights and Freedoms, they're like, what? Is that a rolling paper?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, are we going to be
Is that a type of blunt I haven't heard of?
Smoking up on it? Charter.
Is that a new type of weed strain?
The Charter.
Charter of Rights?
I don't know,
Rights
man.
and Freedoms? It's a type of kush.
It's probably a new version of toilet paper that we use every day to wipe our themselves. But really and truly, it's just we don't really observe our rights as much as Americans do, right? Europe, half of that is gone to socialist programs where you think it's more democratic and free, but countries like France, you can't go out and represent your religion. A woman couldn't wear a hijab or even like you know what's going on with France right now.
Isn't that Quebec?
They're trying to bring that to Quebec as well.
Oh, okay.
You get what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of things that are already in Quebec that they don't let women wear, like a burqa. And I'm not for or against it, but what I am for is the freedom of expression, right?
Right.
A person does have the right to, express themselves in whatever like way that's unharmful to society. You get what I'm saying? Like, no one is dying, or no one is being politically motivated to be a certain way if someone covers up.
Right. And I agree with that. Like, freedom of expression, freedom of thought, and all that stuff. And to kind of go back to, what the House of Commons is like, it's all sus. And I feel recently in the States as well, there's no mutual respect anymore. People don't respect one another from, like, other viewpoints, from other political spectrums. So now there's no debate. There's no debate. It's like, I know better. That person's bad and evil and wrong and racist or whatever, and then there's no conversation that's had. And how did that play into what we were talking about? Oh, when it comes to like these good faith conversations, it's like I'm sorry, they're trying to censor people already. Like that's just going to continue. They don't want to have a conversation. They don't want to have a debate. They don't want to have this freedom of expression anymore. And like. So I don't know. For me, it feels like in the past like year and a half, right, since like the whole COVID, like a year since COVID started, but like 2020, like our rights in Canada, at least. I won't speak on like America. I won't speak on like Europe or anywhere else, but in Canada, we've been getting like the salami slices of like freedom taken away from us, right? It doesn't feel like much because it's increments, and people will tell you, well, you know what? You have it better than a lot of other countries. So shut up, pipe down, and take it, right? But I don't like that. I don't like that attitude either. Like, so what I'm trying to get at is like, we've been conditioned for our rights as Canadians to be taken away. We've been conditioned to be subservient. Just in the past year or longer? Oh, longer, much longer. Like I'm telling you, like 1982 was the first time we've had like basic human rights. Yeah. Before that, we were property of the monarch. Right? Which is kind of scary, right? Yeah, like literally we didn't really have any say before 1982 conventionally to have our own freedom of expression. So everything was primarily... Those little pennies with the queen on it, and she's just like, I own you. Before 1982, we were under the jurisdiction of the British. You get what I'm saying? The British... This guy knows his history. He knows Canadian history. I try to be brushing up on it. My history teacher might be impressed now. I wasn't paying attention back in the day. But yeah, like, so we recently just had rights. So in the psyche of, like, even the boomers, right? Right. Probably that's the only generation in Canada that knows what it takes, other than the 1812ers, to fight for like Canadian values of freedoms, or to distinguish we are them, right? We like never has there been much pride in Canadian like politics. No, and like the Canadian identity, as opposed to when Canadians go out of their own goodwill to go to another land, right? Not like the Americans or not like other countries, but to go fight on the service of freedom and help a community and bring back refugees, right, from that said country, right? Like we were always looked at in the world as like the helping. We're helping. We're there. We're here to help. We're here to help. Good old Canadians, you know what I mean? Yeah. Whether it be in like Bosnia, Rwanda, Somalia, it doesn't matter where we are, right? Yep. Syria, Afghanistan, we're there as the middlemen to help, right? We've tarnished our like image, right? We've become less of like a helping nation and more of like, okay, we'll throw the funds at countries. We'll throw throw gender equality funds at countries like Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, and which is very sus because I don't think they're using that for gender studies. You know, like you don't think they're using it for gender studies in Saudi Arabia? No. You don't think they're helping reproductive rights in South Africa? What reproductive rights? What rights? Who buys the rights you have is how many floors you're gonna pick to fall off of from. Do you want to fall off from the 25th floor or the 12th floor? Which story building do you prefer? Yeah. That's funny. It's funny how people are like, oh, we have it so much better in Canada, but we're going to be sending this money to this like worse off country. And it's like, once again, you bring it back to like the business. Is like, are we getting a return on investment? Like, is that going to anything? And I don't mean like, you know, I'm not saying like don't help other countries, but like, I have a feeling that some of this money, and someone who I know from where? Zimbabwe. She's like, don't call it foreign aid. It's foreign handouts. It's foreign handouts.
It's literally foreign welfare.
And it's like, why do I feel like this money is going towards golden swimming pools and not like, you know, helping impoverished people try to raise themselves up, you know?
One thing I do know is before this pandemic, I knew, our government, we got money to do things. We help. We do things, right? Now, during and after this, like, we're not done the pandemic. We're still in the pandemic. But during the pandemic, I've realized how many billions and billions of dollars.
Billions and
billions. Not millions. I'm talking about billions.
And billions.
With 9 O's. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about, like, we're giving it everywhere, left, right, and center. But we couldn't.
It's like a leaf blower.
But we couldn't have done nothing to help, like, overdoses in like BC and Ontario and
apparently BC is on track to like break another record this year, like 30% higher. I heard 30% higher ODs than last year, and they broke a record last year. There was actually more people who OD'd in BC than died of COVID in 2020, and it's like, I'm sorry, you get I don't like to use the word like junkie or drug addict because I believe they can recover, but it's like you give a bunch of junkies $2,000 a month. Like, they're going to go on a bender. You know what I mean? And their last bender, sadly.
Yeah, a lot of them.
And it's like, and that's the thing. Like, people say, oh, Trudeau's giving out money. It's helping everyone. It's like, that's not being sympathetic. Like, that's not compassion, really. Like, that's enablement.
It's literally throwing money at a problem. It doesn't, like... do anything. Would you throw money at a spoiled kid? Like, let's just say...
Or a 15-year-old?
Yeah, would you just throw money at a problem?
Where was the policy decision there?
Husband, wife. Would you throw money at them if there was a problem between you guys? No, you're going to try to fix the root cause of the problem. You're not going to just throw money at it and think it's...
And what's twisted, if you're a 15 or 16-year-old in Canada and you worked a summer job, you made $5,000, you qualify for CERB. You're living with your parents during COVID, and you're getting like how much is it for like all of CERB? What did it add up to? Like $14,000 or something like that?
I think like 18 grand or 20,
something like this.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being a 16-year-old?
Yeah.
And getting that much money from the government, and then they're also pushing, hey, we want to lower the voting age to 16. So all those people who you like, those young kids who you just bribed with like Xbox Ones and like new phones. What the hell? What do you think you would do? If you're a 15, 16-year-old and you just got bank from Trudeau because of the pandemic, you're fine, you're young, you're healthy, you're like maybe you're even living with your parents, and it's like you're not paying rent.
Dude, you take it and go. Take the money and go. You're not doing anything else, right? Like you're 16.
And you're locked up. Like, what, are you going to smoke weed? Like, I don't know.
You're probably still working, too. Like, a lot of people were still working. The thing that people don't know is a lot of people are still working and collecting CERB. Because in the first bit of it, like, I don't think that they had, like, a program in place to distinguish who was on EI, who can...
I'm sure eligible. It's a mess. I'm sure
it was a
working
big
at the CRA this year must suck. It's
and
probably going to be a shit show.
And then, what's going on is like Jagmeet Singh is also saying...
Jug meat. Isn't it jug?
No, it's Jaguar meat. Jagmeet Singh.
I'm pretty sure it's jug meat.
He's
his Twitter bio.
It's jag meat.
Jag.
You gotta jag it. He knows how to dance. He's a hipster.
Meat Jagger.
The meat. No? I got that meat like Jagger. You know what I mean? But that guy is talking about how he's this, like, he wants to eliminate all Canadians paying back CERB. Like, we shouldn't pay back CERB. Like, all Canadians.
Man, I really want to like Jagmeet and the NDP, but like anytime they talk about their policy, it's just like, this makes less sense.
It makes
than the
like
liberals. I don't follow.
I was wondering if I ran on a platform and I said everything would be free. Everything.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys everything.
I'll vote for you, sure.
The fuck?
Well, it's just like it's like the whole utopia.
But
right?
does it even work? Like,
it's
who's
like
gonna
you're
pay
selling
for
a
it?
utopia, and it'll be free dental care, free everything, free this, free that.
Is just the word. There's got to be somebody that pays for these.
Right, and what's funny about NDP, it's like, free dental care, free this, and we're gonna save Syria, and we're gonna save this place, and it's like, where is
and we're gonna be more green
coming from? And then it's like, we're gonna tax all the rich people. And what I don't like about that
solar panels
is what people need to realize is like, you're not taxing like the super rich. Like, the super rich evade taxes. So when you say, like, we're going to tax the rich, like, you're actually kind of taxing, like, rich, successful entrepreneurs who have created a shit ton of jobs in this country. They're not going to want to do business here anymore because you're taxing the shit out of them.
They're actually taxing the bridge builder, the middleman, not the super wealthy.
Right.
The normal everyday man and woman like us that climb out of poverty, become entrepreneurs, make something for themselves.
Yeah. And
they get told, boom, you're part of the elite now because you make $1.2 million a year. We're going to fucking take like 30% or 40% or maybe 50% of your capital. Meanwhile, the guy that's making $400 million to like $1 billion a year is not getting taxed like how you are. They're they're evading all taxes. If anything, they're getting money back from the government for actually setting up shop.
Yeah, or they're paying taxes and they're getting it back.
I'm talking about. I'm looking at you, Walmart. I'm looking at you, Costco. I'm looking at you.
And to bring up that point, like, people really truly believe that. Like, oh, you have a successful company.
Amazon.
Like, you are like the elite. And it's like, I am not the elite. Like, I have a successful company, whatever. Maybe I make 6 figures. People are like, oh, these like landlords are like so evil and wrong.
Dude.
And it's like, no,
so man. What? Guys, I want to ask a question. So what if I have 3 restaurants and I built it for like 10 years from one restaurant and I created a franchise on the other side of the city, and then I created another one in the downtown area, and I tried so hard for 15 years of my life, and I probably didn't even make any money for the first 5 years, right? If anything, more money was coming out of my pockets for the first 5 years because I was planning for my future.
Yo, it's a risk.
You're gonna tell me that everything I've done, I'm part of the 1% now because I have 3 franchises and I'm supposed to pay 40% of my taxes. But that Jeff Bezos guy has like how many Amazons in Canada? How many Amazon warehouses in Canada? And he doesn't pay any taxes.
But
zero.
He supports BLM though.
But he supports BLM now.
He supports BLM.
But I'm a black guy and I have like 3 barbershops and I cannot, or a restaurant, or a doctor's office for like dental work, and I can't.
You're part of the 1%.
Yeah,
no, but you remember the barbecue guy, Adamson Barbecue.
Yeah, Adamson. Yeah.
Like, I saw comments online saying that's exact stuff. Oh, the Adamson Barbecue has like 3 locations. You know, he's just getting bank off of all this like drama of like COVID drama. And it's like, it just goes to show how little these people understand about like business and the marketplace. It's like, let me explain. If you have 3 locations, that doesn't just mean I make 3 times the money. That means 3 times the overhead. 3 times the costs, 3 times the risks,
salary,
3 times the risk,
like insurances.
Maybe you have a stone chef that doesn't show up, and then you have to, there's like all of these complicated logistics of running a business. It's like it just goes because it's like these points shouldn't be taken seriously by anyone. Oh, he has 3 locations. He's like Jeff Bezos. It's like, don't listen to these people. Like,
meanwhile, the same people that are saying this shit about guys like Adamson Barbecue that has 3 locations, he worked his like nutsacks off.
He's an elitist.
He's an elitist. But no. The guy that you order your thing from and get to your door, Amazon, is not an elitist, right?
Yeah.
The DoorDash and Uber Eats that are coming to your door is not as elite as you like. What are people really foaming about? It makes no sense. You guys are against the corporations and you're against the big guys, the billionaires, but you guys want to kick the little guy like you that's down. It's crabs in a barrel mentality. The little guy that's in the crab, the poverty that they lived in, they're trying to get out of that, trying to get their families out of that. They got mortgages on their houses, and they got like things they got to pay, and they got their own kids that they want to probably set up for a good education and a good like future.
Yeah.
But no, it's screw that. You're part of the 1% now, right? screw you. Don't you dare. Know your place. Come back into Povertyville with us. It's only these elitists, like these politicians, can tell us how to live. Or it's the guys that run Instagram or Facebook or Amazon or Walmart can tell us what to do with our time and our money.
Yeah.
And how to address stuff. Like, you can go to Dollarama or even Walmart right now, and they'll sell you stuff, like spices or other stuff. Or even you can go into places, they'll sell you food, but they won't sell you the things to cook the food on, like the Tupperware, or like the frying pans, or like anything that you need.
You're cooking on Tupperware? Hold on.
No, I'm not cooking on Tupperware. Sorry about that. I am not cooking on Tupperware. I'm saying like the frying pans, like the pots and pans, and also like the things that you can hold your food in, like the Tupperware. You know what I'm saying? Like, just eliminate all that. Just go grab your shit that is essential. We will tell you what's essential and what's not essential. And you will shut the hell up.
There's something to that, too. Like, the idea of, and this is almost happening on social media now, but they say that, if you're successful and you come from your hometown, even though you're loved and adored, like, across the world, across the country or whatever, people in your hometown are still going to be, like, resentful of you. Like, your close, like, friends and family or whatever. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, like, he got lucky. They're going to be, like, a little... that's what they say.
You can't do much with that. People are going to resent you regardless.
No, but I'm saying, though, like, that's almost happening just, like, broadly on social media now. So it's, like, someone who you don't even know who's becoming successful. And it's like, oh, well, screw him, like... he's part of the 1% now. Like, it just kind of seems like that same mentality. And it sucks because it's like, what? We're going to resent and be bitter towards anyone who's successful now? It's almost like there's this weird sort of, like, screw successful entrepreneur.
Do you know what it's become right now? It's these, I don't want to, like, pinpoint it, but it begins in the educational system. It begins with all these teachers in elementary school up into high school, and then the professors in universities and colleges teaching and indoctrinating our youth about like far radical leftist policies that don't even work in a country with the population density and GDP growth as in Canada, that and in this century, on the 21st century, as opposed to like Bolshevik revolutions in like the USSR, or not even the USSR, the Russia in the early 1920s. You get what I'm saying? The hundreds and shit like that. Like, it makes no sense, because if you've ever lived in like a Marxist or a communist or like country that like literally eats away at every single civil liberty that you have, you wouldn't want to live there. Ask people that have lived in like those communist blocks, those the Iron Curtain veil of like Yugoslavia and Bulgaria and any of those countries, Poland and whatnot. Ask people that came from like Somalia, like, you know what I mean? Like me, I was a kid, like I was a baby at that time, but like in like the late 80s, but like I was there for when the government collapsed, and it was all due to like a dictator and a Marxist, right?
Was there indoctrination?
And it was indoctrination with the Russians, right? And we went to war with our own neighbors, the Ethiopians, and the Russians were playing both sides. Same thing with the Americans, right? It was all during the Cold War era. So what I'm trying to say is, like, I don't trust any, like...
You've seen this before.
Yeah, firsthand. Marxist socialism and communism does not work well in countries like Somalia. It does not work well in countries like Poland. It does not work well in countries like Venezuela, El Salvador. It does not work well in Cuba. It does not work well anywhere. So these westernized little, what do you call it, like brainwashed youth that come out of these universities, and they want to like tell you about how great it would be to live in a communist society, but they don't get that they're tweeting on like their iPhones or on their Samsungs, on their Androids. They got their new Nikes and Adidas on. Yeah. They don't know how deep they are into it. If they want to live in a communal like environment, go live in the bushes. Go grow your own stuff organically.
There's no gratitude.
Yeah, there's no gratitude for what capitalism to an extent built. Like, there has not been a system put in place that has helped more people that look like me come out of poverty than capitalism, bro. If you look at like my people in general, like, if I can even break it down further, I'm black, I'm African, but I'm also like Somalian, and we are a capitalist society. Man, women, children. You can go to the streets of Somalia right now. You'll see little kids with shoe buffers and their shoe shiners and stuff like that. They're like 10 years old, 8 years old, 5 years old, ready to buff your shoes or whatnot. Yeah. They're hustling for their paycheck, right? You'll see women on the streets like selling like jewelry, merchants. You'll see them have their own stores, shops. Actually, women for the most part in black society or African society have benefited from capitalism more than the men have. And that's great because they're using it to feed their families while the men go out and work. The women are also working as well to benefit the family. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But in more of like a capitalist way, they're working for themselves, really and truly. Like they're selling product that they deemed like that they farmed or that they created with their own hands.
This might be a stupid question, but like, has there always been like, is the capitalist like stuff new to Somalia? Like,
it's always been like that. It's been like that since ancient times because really and truly, geographically we're located in a perfect center where east meets west. Like the Indian Ocean's right there. You can easily go to India, to the east, to Asia. You're right there with the Middle East, and you can go up the Red Sea to Europe if you pass through the Suez Canal, right? Or you can go right around under Africa where South Africa is. But what I'm trying to say is there's been a lot of passage there, right? Hence why we have pirates, right? In Somalia, pirates of the Somalia.
Right.
Not Caribbean,
pirates,
right?
Yeah.
But like,
I am the captain.
Those are Coast Guards, really. I am the captain now.
I'm the captain.
You know what I mean? But what I'm trying to say is, like,
look at me.
It is the look at me. I'm the captain now. Look. You know what I mean? So it is like more or less like the geography of where we were set up. That was good routes for like trade, whether it be in ancient times where we were called like the land of Punt with Egypt, the old Silk Road with China, whatnot, right? But like we were always a capitalist society. We've never been communist until like the late 60s, like 1969 when our president took over. But what I'm trying to say is communism, Marxism, socialism has never really worked in a country where it has like a population density of a few million. You take out certain industrial services, you make them agricultural, like you get them dependent on working for the government as opposed to working for themselves. Then you can dish out jobs in a status quo sense where, okay, these people support me, so they'll get all the best jobs. These people do not support me, so they'll get all the shitty, minuscule labor jobs. Right?
Yeah.
That's what communism inevitably ends up doing. Like, you end up putting everybody in different tribes, and I'm seeing Canada become like that too right now.
And it comes down to like the power, right?
I've seen Canada become like that.
Who's got the connections at Ottawa? Whose family members work at Ottawa? Who's handing out the salaries in Ottawa? And it's
also immigration. Who's coming into the country and who's voting, right?
Yep.
Because when we look at it, like, there are some immigrants' votes that don't really count, right? Especially the black vote in Canada. It doesn't really matter because we put all our votes everywhere. Same thing with the white vote. It doesn't really matter because you put your votes everywhere.
Well, do we even
what matters is certain...
We don't have exit polls in Canada, which I think makes like a big difference. Like in terms of tracking that sort of stuff.
Tracking the data?
Like, is there a track like blacks in Canada vote?
I'm not probably being too specific on tracking the data, but what I do know is probably from my day-to-day asking people questions, and it may not be as solidified as quote-unquote data. But let's just be honest.
It's anecdotal, but
It's anecdotal. Let's just be honest. Most of us, we tend to vote for the person that let us in the door. So we're going to vote, if liberals, Justin Trudeau's father, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, led in the most record amount of immigration. So we will actually have the liberals' backs, even though we don't agree with none of their policies when it comes into a sense.
Yeah.
Just because they let us in that door. It doesn't matter, right? And immigrants have been divided into specific classes, right? Immigrants that work for the system and immigrants that are fodder. That are political pawns. You know what I mean? To garner votes. right? So like when you look at
I've never thought of it that
no,
way,
they're
but-
like, okay, so here's the whole thing. Like, you being a non-POC, I'm gonna break it down to you, right? This whole POC concept is pretty messed up because of the fact
can we
that
talk about POC in general?
because we're not like
I don't
equal.
like POC.
We're not-
like person of color. Like it really feels like a step
What it
backwards.
means is the whites and the non-whites.
Exactly, yeah.
The whites and the non-whites.
Seems really kind of.
That's all it means. But
Yeah.
when we're looking at like the non-whites, right? We're not even all aligned. Like like everybody in the world as human beings.
The reason I
Right?
think it's a step backwards is I remember growing up and it was like. It was about your heritage. We were encouraged to talk about your. Oh, okay, like I'm English, Scottish, like German, Polish, and it's like you're Somalian,
Somali,
Oh,
not Ian.
what?
We don't say Somalian. We say Somali.
You're Somali.
Yeah, Somali.
I
You don't
didn't
say
know
the E.
See, now we're learning.
Yeah.
If I would have called you a POC, then I wouldn't have learned
Oh
shit.
my God! Please, I'd rather you call me Somalian
Or
than call me a.
BIPOC. People say
What the hell?
BIPOC.
Okay, listen. What
Come
the hell?
on, don't let BIPOC happen.
It's
I don't
like
that.
Latinx. You'll never see a
Oh,
Latinx.
God.
You'll never see a Latinx in the flesh in IRL.
But isn't it
You'll
weird
never-
though how these new terms racialized?
I hate that the worst. I hate that the worst.
I don't like it either.
Whenever our politicians call us racialized,
What is
they
that?
just mean, hey, I'm less than this guy. That's all they mean. They mean that I need their help. They mean that me as a black guy. Oh, please, sir. I'm so racialized. Please, sir.
It's so weird. It's
I
a
need
weird
some help.
word.
Can I get some funding? Can I get some welfare? I'm a racialized person. Ooh. You know what I mean?
It's
like that's all it means, right? It doesn't
You get
mean
that?
anything. No, it's okay. It doesn't mean anything like solid.
It's a weird word where it's like something has happened to you. Like you became like racialized. You know what I mean? Like just like
So wait.
the grammar of it is like.
Quick question.
What?
Is Justin Trudeau racialized after all those times he's put on blackface?
He's racialized himself.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he went.
That's a better.
The funny thing is,
That's racialized. Yeah.
Dude,
he racialized himself. Yeah.
Okay, listen. I want to laugh so hard. There was this girl, right? I think she's like Eastern European or Russian.
Yeah.
She was all over TikTok.
Okay.
She did this. She went into like an area where there's like cows and stuff like that. There was this song, right? Like an Indian Bollywood type song. She took mud and she put it on her face, and it was like the song. Dun, 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 dun. All you brown people were mad at that. Why weren't you mad at Justin Trudeau when he put on blackface? Later on, they called it brownface. Never has brownface existed before 2019.
Brownface?
There's never been that term. First off, it is blackface, straight up. If you ever darken your skin, it's blackface, even by a tan. And you try to make fun, or you're trying to play a caricature, right? I've never seen a show where white people have paid good money to see white people pretend like they were Indians. No, they did this against black people. So let's just call it what it is. A spade is a spade. It was called blackface. So with the blackface going on, you guys didn't stand up for us. You guys didn't stand up for yourselves. You guys literally said, "Yo, it's not that serious."
Dude, the headlines were like, it's a learning experience. You actually talked to it. You actually talked to it.
It wasn't that serious.
I remember when it was just happening. It was like that summer that it came out, or like that fall.
Yeah.
And I was at an open mic, and this guy, I played some political song at like an open mic, and we were talking to politics, and there was like some leftist outside, and I'm like, oh yeah, well, what do you think of the blackface thing? Oh, that was so long ago.
That was so long
Like
ago.
the knee jerk was like, oh, that was so long ago, and it's like
he was a kid.
it was after 2000.
Teacher,
You know,
it was this century.
Yeah, it was this century.
It was like
actually.
literally in this like maybe
It was
like a
after
decade
the
ago.
internet was invented. You know, like it wasn't that long ago.
And they knew, just before he was going to the polls, he still got elected. You guys still voted for him.
That's why our country's in the state it is. We re-elected blackface.
We re-elected blackface. Anybody that has a religious stance or any kind of view that goes against their norms, whether it be like the LGBT community, nothing against them, really and truly. Just gotta put that out there. But I'm saying, like, Muslims, Orthodox Christians, and a lot of religious people, their values and a lot of immigrants don't line up with the LGBT community and whatnot, but we will vote liberals and all our politicians, they'll look like us too, right? Mm-hmm. It's because as Canadians, we love to live and let live. I understand that. We live and let live. But wouldn't your policies be more, or wouldn't your views more align with like another party perhaps? You wouldn't be like going through a lot of this other shit. You know what I mean? But
on average, I would imagine when it comes to like social conservatives, like immigrants and new immigrants especially are probably way more socially conservative.
Dude, my mom is more of a practicing Muslim than I am. I'm not really a practicing Muslim, right? Like that. You know what I mean? I'm Muslim by name, but I try my best. But I'm not that religious. Yeah. But like my mom prays 5 times a day. Who did she vote for in the last election? Liberal. And it has nothing to do, it doesn't correlate praying and voting. What I'm trying to say is she is a Muslim that is like she is a, what do you call it? An observing Muslim, like an observing Christian or observing Jew. There's there's people Christian by name or Jewish by name or Muslim by name, right? But like how I am a Muslim by name, but I'm not observing. I don't pray. I don't fast. I don't do all things that is required of me, right? My mom and a lot of other Muslim women do the same probably, and they'll still vote liberal. Oh, Justin Trudeau, his father was good. They let us into the country. Oh, Justin Trudeau, he loves immigration. Okay, but you traded off getting a green light just to get into the country for your own actual morals and rights and dignity of what you actually stand and believe in. I'm not trying to throw shots at all these Muslim people out here, you know what I mean? But I'm saying we don't really stick to the conviction of our moral beliefs. If a lot of Muslims, they will vote for liberal, they will vote for NDP, they'll vote for other parties that don't even line up with their beliefs, and a lot of Christians probably do the same thing too. And you know,
so what would your mom think if she saw this here?
Oh my God!
This is the Liberal Party. Yeah, this is right in the gay village too.
She voted. It's her fault.
No, but what would you say? What would you say if you brought your mom down to the gay village? All these, we love our homosexuals, walking around everywhere, and it's like, hey, there's the Liberal Party.
Listen, my mom. Pink billboard. Listen, between me and my mom. Okay, listen, I'm Westernized. I am also more open-minded. I have people. I'm going to use this.
No, I don't care. You don't have to do this whole thing. Oh, I'm okay with gays. You don't have to do that. I'm asking what your mom would think.
I got gay friends. Don't cancel me. I'm just joking.
Let's not waste breath on that, okay?
No.
They're going to get mad at us anyway.
Anyways, yeah. Listen, my mom would have a heart attack. But this being said...
Come on.
This being said, she wouldn't have a heart attack. You know what I mean? No, she wouldn't. I'm bullshitting. My mom would look at this and she would say, hey, it's a means to an end. Right?
Oh, okay.
At least he is not racist. He can go against my beliefs. Right? He can go against my own personal convictions.
At least
right?
he's not racist.
I will literally, if a Christian or an atheist came and put a knife to any, observant Muslim's neck, they would not denounce their faith, more or less. And a lot of them, if they're very observant, then they believe in their God, right? But they would snap that in a heartbeat and trade it for a citizenship in a Western nation and keep their mouth shut about all the other things that are going on with their own moral conviction. Does that make sense? And a lot of our parents are like that. We came into this country, we give praise to the Liberal Party for letting us be in this country. But what do? They go against some of the things that our parents go against, or we go against. I was a young liberal. I was a young liberal at one time.
I feel like that's a con that they've pulled off, though. Why does the Liberal Party get all the credit for that? There's conservatives who have been against immigration, but it's not like they've been zero immigration, we're stopping immigration. You know what I mean? It's Canada has welcomed immigrants widely. And it's this whole thing of it was because of the liberal, I feel like that's a con that they've pulled off, where it's they have the monopoly. They have the monopoly on, we're the only people who have brought you in here. We're the only party who does that. Where it's totally not true. There's not one party that is against immigration. Even the far right PPC
onto reduction of immigration.
A reduction, but they're still, they're still inviting people into the country. It's not like...
Here's the thing, though, because they know that their votes are consistent with immigration. They know that they have a monopoly on that because they frame themselves in that way.
Framing,
if you listen,
framing is very important.
If you listen to like Justin Trudeau's words, he's actually one of the most transparent prime ministers to date. Like, he may have scandals like the LNC, the Lavalin, and the We Charity
ethics violations.
But here's the thing, though, he will ethics violations. Also, the reporter, the sexual assault that he. Maybe we've experienced it differently.
That was so long ago.
Listen.
That was so long ago.
Maybe we've experienced it differently. Is that a mind trick?
Jedi.
Liberal mind trick.
Yeah.
All right? We've experienced it differently. These are not
the droids you're looking for.
These are not the liberals you're looking for. You know what I mean? But what I'm trying to say is like, yo, they frame themselves in a way where they're the party of the people that are bringing immigrants. From when they said Big Daddy, Mac Daddy Trudeau, Pierre Trudeau was the OG of Canadian politics, bringing the most record amount of immigrants to date. And then his son is following in his Big Daddy's footsteps. Well, it's kind of up for debate if Pierre is his dad or if it's Castro.
I wanted to go back to something. I wanted to go back to something that you said. You talked about how, as a Somali, you recognize patterns of, indoctrination from where you came from and how it's happening here. And I wanted to point that out, that one of the problems in Canada, I feel, is a lot of Canadians have had it easy for so long, and they don't recognize the indoctrination happening, how we're slowly becoming demoralized and, like, not caring about our nation. And it's someone like you, who's come from a different country, who actually recognizes it. And I've talked to other people from Russia, Eastern Europe, and they recognize this stuff. And it's ironically, it's like the newcomers to Canada who are like warning Canadians and saying like, "Yo, this is not a good sign what our government's doing. This is not a good sign with the indoctrination, the censorship. It's not a good sign." And it's like everyday Canadians are like, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about? We love Justin Trudeau."
It's crazy because I remember Canada used to be a country that actually like helped and took in like refugees from other nations and whatnot. But now, and immigrants that
we still do that.
We still do that, but it's just like to a different scale. Like we do it more like, how should I say, statistically, we would take in a certain amount that would help, with the voting bloc first and foremost, right? So I think
You think that's the main motive?
I think that's the main motive.
Really?
Immigration is like 60% who's going to vote.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
60% is of the immigrants that are coming to the country is like who's going to be voting for the reigning party.
So
then after that, it's just like literally, okay, who can we help to give like virtue signaling?
You think it's so hold on.
It's virtue signaling.
Basically you're saying that refugees and immigrants are importing liberal or leftist voters, and also pawns, like political pawns.
Oh yeah,
to help liberal and leftist parties.
There's a reason.
That's the whole.
There's a reason why they have this whole model immigrant. You know what I mean? Criteria set up. They'll say usually like Asians that are like specific types of Asians that are like. Chinese.
Is this the immigration
Korean
point model?
I'll show you this. Immigration, when you look at it, we've got different types of people, right? Races. There's different dynamics within races, whether you're black, white, Asian, what do you call it? Brown, Middle Eastern. It doesn't matter. There's rich and there's poor everywhere, right? And some countries have like more of like a third world leaning towards it. So when we look at countries like the Philippines, and we look at or like Laos and Cambodia, and we look at countries like China and Korea and Japan, right? the Asians that you're gonna be getting for work permits just to come over here and work their asses off and go back to their countries are typically gonna be the poorer Asian countries like the Philippines or Laos or Cambodia. Some of them will try to stay here, and that's what any normal person would try to do. I would if I was a man or woman and I had the opportunity to work in a better country and it was better than the place that I came from, I would try to stay. It's only natural.
It's only natural, yeah.
Then there are the Asians that are Chinese and whatnot. They're also living in poverty that come here for a better future, right? Then there are also the Asians that have money, right? Yeah. That are coming in here, putting in money
and buying the condo buildings.
Buying the condo buildings, everything. The property value goes up in Vancouver, in Toronto, and Montreal because they're not technically citizens. Maybe their children could be citizens of the country. They're just residents. Or they're just very powerful money spenders in the country.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What I hope Canadians can realize is just okay, go ahead.
No, so my point on that is all POCs are not equal, and when on the spectrum, from a personal stance on people like myself that come from Somalia, war-torn nation, the time that we've come. There's a lot of rich Somalis that came from back home and built something over here. But then there's the refugee class that came over here. I was also a refugee myself when I came here from the war in Somalia, my mom and as well.
Yeah.
And you get what I'm saying? The Canadian government doesn't do due diligence to prop up. They'll help refugees get over here, but then they'll put them in ghettos. You get what I'm saying? Then there's these other immigrants that will come over here with a little bit more money, and then. You know what I mean? They won't advise on we got immigrants of all backgrounds that live in ghettos. But what I'm trying to say is they would know that money that they can work in the ghetto, these immigrants, right? Most of these stores in here are Korean owned stores or Chinese stores or Indian people with money. It's not black people. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is there's a model class of immigrants that is valued. You get what I'm saying? Not all immigrants are quote unquote the same in the value structure. There's a spectrum. And also there's no such thing as POC or a BIPOC. It is the Asian experience for a person from Cambodia or Laos, whether it be poor Asian from there or a richer Asian country is different. Or even a rich person from Laos or Cambodia has a different experience than a poor person from Laos and Cambodia. Rich person from and even when they come here, you get what I'm saying? There's disadvantages that they have too. You get what I'm saying? School education, some of their, there's only certain criteria where they ask everybody's race in school and stuff. And they'll let less Asians go into universities and higher learning now, all because of affirmative action. This whole thing is just messed up.
Yeah, and it's BIPOC. It's almost the opposite. Whitewashing is a term. Yeah. And even the term white kind of just reduces all European people down into just one color.
Oh, there's a lot of poor white countries and there's a lot of poor white people in those poor white countries too.
Right, but BIPOC
is rich countries.
BIPOC is doing something even weirder because it's black and indigenous and person of color. So it's taking an even larger group of just people who are non-white and smushing it all together. And then where are Asian people in all this? Do they fit into BIPOC?
It doesn't matter where we go, if it's BIPOC or POC or whatever they call it. Black people are always going to be at the bottom of that totem pole. It doesn't matter if I go to India or China or wherever, anywhere I go in the world, I'm still going to be a black man first. So I don't prescribe to this POC labeling. First and foremost, people recognize me by what I look like.
It's literally just political terminology.
Yeah, it's political terminology.
What does it even
do? People know me by my appearance before they know what my ideals are. They'll say that black guy over there. If I'm in it doesn't matter if I'm with black people. Right. And even if they don't say that, group of black people,
and even if they don't say that, people are thinking that.
Yeah,
because that's just the way that people work.
And I don't blame them for it. It's not something that I look at they're racist because they labeled me as a black. No, that's just what I am. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
But there's so many people who are oh yeah, my friend D, he's racialized,
Oh, I would slap you for that. Call me black.
He's a black person.
Call me black, because I would slap anybody that calls me racialized.
It's simple.
Don't even call me POC, but if you call me racialized, it's so dirty. It's just like was I white before, and then they just like when you go
you became racialized.
As if I was in a factory and I was just like this, like and then just spray painted me black. Like now he is racialized.
He's been racialized. There's something weird, like the term racialized is like you weren't always racialized, but now you are racialized. You've been racialized.
It's like you've been like cultured, like before you were like you've been seasoned before you were unseasoned. You've been racialized.
I hate it.
Oh my god. Where did all this BS come from? From like white people not knowing how to season their food. All the top chefs are white, like Gordon Ramsay's and like
Did you see
Anthony
that TikTok?
Bourdain. Yeah,
did you see that TikTok?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
but there's
where
a lot
does that
of
come
white chefs.
from? Like it's Anthony Bourdain, and it's a funny meme. Yeah,
I don't know where it came from, but
I don't know.
Literally, probably some black comedian came up with that joke, and it like stuck. You white people don't know how to season your food.
I don't listen to them. Stereotypes go around.
No, but I do. I would say that I have black friends, and the way they prepare chicken, like there's extra steps. It's like, oh, you wash it, and it's like, oh, okay, you do it this way. Like
Yeah,
it might be specific to chicken.
I don't know. I'm letting you know. Those videos you see online is like we do not wash our chicken with like soap and detergent. No, we do not.
Whoa, I've never seen that.
No. I've seen videos online where they're washing it with soap and product. Like we don't do that.
No.
You wash your fucking chicken, yeah.
No, you wash it. See, that's the thing. I don't think my mom
rinse
does
it
that.
with water.
I don't think my
you'll wash it out.
Saxon mom does that.
You just wash it out with water. You wash out the blood. And
that makes sense. Yeah,
dude.
And as a white person, I never heard
it.
that.
Yeah.
So it might be just specific to like preparing chicken or something like that. Yeah. A stereotype. I don't know. Comment below.
Yeah.
If you're white or black,
if you're white or black, tell us how you season your food.
Know how to season stuff or not?
You know what I mean?
I put cinnamon on my.
These guys went to war. These guys went all around the world. These guys thought they were going to India and landed in the New World just for the sake of spices. For spices. Do you think they wouldn't know how to spice?
Didn't white people like enslave all sorts of people for like sugar?
They enslaved natives. They enslaved themselves. Irish. They enslaved black West Africans.
Not only do we season food, we enslave people
for the sake of seasoning their food. Do you not think that they know a little thing about seasoning? I don't know, man. I don't know. These guys thought they were going to India by heading west just to get seasoning. You guys think they don't know how to season? I don't know.
I don't even know what to say. Yeah.
Holy shit. It's like give me this, give me that. I'm heading to India. But sir, are we going the wrong way? No. We can get there faster if we go the opposite direction.
We need the spices.
It's like Arby's, we have the meats.
But you're enslaving our people. It's like there's a rich English guy who needs to get this spice on his rice.
There's a British bitch sitting somewhere that needs some fucking sugar in her fucking tea. So you get back to work. Like, goddamn.
There's probably an argument to be made about like.
There's an argument to be made. The same thing that we're going through right now on our cell phones. You know where the gold and the cobalt comes from? It comes from the Congo. It comes from Central Africa. And there are people slaving away right now.
Oh, sorry. You're talking about like what's in a battery, right?
No, what's in not only in the battery, but also in the chips in anything electronic.
Yeah.
Right.
They mine cobalt.
They mine cobalt. Yeah. From over there, and it's like one of the only places in the world.
This is something that people never talk about.
So it is literally like
they make a new iPhone every year,
and you guys line up to buy it. You guys are no better than those white women that didn't know that Africans or natives were being enslaved in the Caribbean, but still saying, "Disha, it is 4:00 tea time. We must have our tea and crumpets." You guys are no better than that, and I'm not any better because I have an iPhone, right? So I'm just trying to say is
stop acting
like you're doing something good. Yeah. We all have to realize that
we've all been responsible for enslaving, African kids to mine cobalt.
Right? And we've all been responsible for all the enslavement of all.
That's a good way to look at it, actually. All white people did slavery. It's like we're doing slavery today. We're all participating in it.
Can I give you onions of slavery? It is not only one
Like
specific
layers? What do you mean
layers?
Okay, onions.
So we get the cobalt from these African slaves that are mining it in Congo. Where do we ship it out to? We ship it to China to put this shit together and assemble it. You get what I'm saying? You think the Chinese don't got slaves of their own?
Probably.
They got them Uyghurs. And you know what they're doing? They're putting it together. So one slave mines, they bring it, they ship it. The other slave zip puts it together. Now they also gonna give it to another factory, and we're the Western slaves. Actually, we don't realize we're slaves because we get the opportunity and privileges to pay 50 to 60% of our income on rent, and then another 10% on our fucking phone bills, and then whatever the food that we gotta get. But we're working all day long just to get this and our TV and everything, and we're stuck in a black screen, dude. And you think you're more woke, dude?
Yeah, it's like, what are we living for?
What are you talking about right now? What are we talking about? You know what I mean?
Do you ever get this, like, this urge, this feeling, and it's like a real primal feeling that we all have, and it's like, my phone's gonna die, I need to plug this thing in. Do you get that, or is that just a weird motivation thing I have, where it's like, where's the outlet, dude? I need to plug this thing in.
The most important things happen on my phone when I have like 3% to 5% left on my on charge.
Yeah.
It's like
you had it all day looking at memes, and then it's like, oh my god, this job interview.
3%
left. 3%
oh
left.
God.
Oh no.
Shit. It is what it is, though.
I wanted to go back to a Canadian identity topic you brought up. You talked about how Canada, and I think you're right.
This is a post-national country. What are you talking about?
Not that.
What are you talking about? We don't have an identity anymore.
No.
But the CRT can say we have an identity crisis.
It's fucking weird.
It's weird. The Prime Minister is appointing somebody to tell us that we... Okay, listen. The Prime Minister, out of his own mouth, out of his own beak, said, we're a post-national nation. Canada doesn't really have an identity that's per se Canadian.
And let's follow the logic here. So it's like the CRTC exists, it regulates all TV, radio, all that stuff, and now they want to apply that to the internet and your content, all of our content on social media. This is what this Bill C-10 amendment is all about that people are talking about. This is why they're calling it censorship. But let's follow the logic. CRTC wants to uphold Canadian identity and like nationalist identity, and it's like Trudeau says, moving on, we're a post-national state. We have no core identity. So it's like, okay, so
do we have
what are we enforcing then?
Or do we don't?
And it's like, ironically,
like,
are we going to be enforcing like the liberal idea of Canadian identity, which is, like you were saying, importing more liberal voters? Like, is that like the identity we're going for?
Dude, welcome to the Great Replacement. You know what I mean? Just welcome to it.
You're not allowed to
welcome
talk about
it. Hey. Well, you know why? Because
I disavow. I don't believe in that. Hey,
the replacement is we're replacing free-minded people and individuals. It doesn't matter about your skin tone. With slave-minded individuals that would gladly be subservient to the government, because most countries they came from were communist, Marxist governments that were already oppressive, right? Kind of like. Quick example, my parents, they came from an oppressive regime in Somalia. Now, when they come over here, they'd be like, yeah, we understand authority. We don't go against the grain of authority that much because, like, it was so life-threatening from where they came from. As opposed to a guy like me growing up being taught to believe, hey, you have the freedom to express yourself. You have the freedom to say what you got to say.
You can criticize the
government.
You don't have to fear the government.
You don't have to fear them. But now Canada's changed to a point where we've evolved into a basic dictatorship.
We're getting there. In the past in the past year, it's really been strange how there's been this weird, like, authority of the government. Even though they're just making our quality of life.
Oh my God, the pandemic has unleashed so many Karens that have been waiting their whole life for this moment to follow rules.
Control freaks.
To follow rules.
Helicopter parents.
This is their heaven. They've been waiting for
their time.
This is like their time to shine.
They're every day they wake up, they get their coffee, they got their binoculars, they're looking out.
Who is not following the rules?
Who's not wearing a mask?
It's because of you. You're killing us.
Snitch line. She's got multiple phones. Snitch line. Oh, I found another one.
It's funny. It's ridiculous, man. It's just people actually have been pitted against each other. Like, they call people that do not want to wear masks, anti-maskers. No, fam, they are pro-choice.
Or yeah, they're just choosing.
They're
not
just
to wear
choosing
a mask.
not to wear a mask.
It's become like a
They're
slander
pro-choice
term.
mask.
It's become a slander term, right? Or you're an anti-masker.
Weren't you born?
It's like, can it just be somebody who's not?
Were you born with a mask? Like, aren't you a masker? Don't we call you pro-maskers? How about that? Like, you're a pro-masker. You have chosen to take away 20% of your breathing and oxygen towards your brain to help you think more efficiently, just so you can come and run upon me and say, "You're not wearing a mask! Why aren't you?" God damn it, you're not wearing a mask!
I don't want to talk about it. It's like,
Dog,
it's so
try
creepy.
me at a Costco. Try me at a Walmart when I'm not wearing a mask. Tell me if I don't whip out my phone and make you look like an idiot. Come on, man. You know?
Yeah. Oh, man. Like, the weirdest part about all the mask stuff is when you'll find, like, people making fashion statements about it. Or, like, it's become politicized. It's become this thing of, I am a virtuous person wearing my mask. Like, I'm wearing my mask. I'm literally saving lives by wearing my mask.
The worst is
and it's like you actually, I don't know, like there's so much faith that's been put into masks. I think that's the stupidest part.
Dude, the
like
worst.
It's like you guys are crowding into Costco or crowding into Walmart. Like you really think this fabric is gonna? And I'm not saying that it doesn't work a little bit.
I don't want to.
It's like you're really making it this dogmatic thing now, where it's.
I don't want to beat a dead horse though. Like we know that in the beginning they said, you know what, they said that there's shortages of masks. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, they threw a bunch of it out because they didn't want to pay for the rent
even gave
of a storage unit.
Yeah, they even gave masks.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah. And they even gave masks away to other countries, and then at the same time they weren't really enforcing that when it really counted in the beginning, when the deaths were at the most highest.
The timing was really.
What is it now? We gotta wear masks.
Really
when it's just like when it first started. Don't wear masks, please. Then when the deaths went up, it's like everybody, okay, you gotta start wearing masks. Right, but
the reaction time of our government is like a tortoise.
But the deaths were not even in the public eye. It was like
a year later. It's like
it was in the old folks' homes.
Oh, let's ban travel. It's like literally a year later.
After
a year
so the first much travel coming
now you're gonna shut down
from
travel?
all the countries that had the most amount of COVID outbreaks, especially where it originated from. You had flights coming in every day. Up until today, actually.
Yeah.
It still hasn't been banned, actually. Flights to China have not been banned since the beginning of the...
Yeah, and there's a clip of Trudeau. We can bring it up here, but it's like he basically lies and says something like, oh, yeah, we've banned travel ever since... But I think he has a technicality. He's like, we've banned something travel, like
some sort of travel.
Some specific
aspect of this travel, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like so dishonest because it's like, bro... The planes have been coming.
Bro, they've become wordsmiths. You know the thing I've realized with the liberals? They've become like pimps when it comes to like words. They've become wordsmiths.
Dude.
They know exactly how to say so it doesn't spill over to like another like scandal. So when it does happen, they'll be like, no, we've told you guys. This is what we wanted to do and this is how we framed it. You just didn't pick up on the way we like you were misunderstood. Maybe we need to clarify.
Polite fascists.
Yeah,
they're
very
polite smooth criminals with their words, and they're like, everything's fine.
That's why people don't notice or don't care.
It's so maddening. It's so maddening.
People don't notice or care.
And like I was telling a friend the other day, Trudeau's superpower is being able to talk for hours and not say anything and make you feel good. Mm-hmm. Like waste your time, but like make you feel good. And like it's because like you did the We Charity scandal. You're an asshole. You hate veterans. You don't care about people overdosing. Yeah. You don't care about SNC-Lavalin. Well, and then I'll talk for like 5 minutes, and you're like, huh? Well,
what did he even say?
He's kind of good looking, I guess. And like it even works on me. I hate the guy.
And he's being compassionate.
And it works on me.
And it is like,
yeah.
Well,
it's like this spell.
At this given time, we do what we can to help the people of Canada everywhere and everywhere. There's not anybody that we leave out with hope. But at the end of the day, it is at this time we need to come together. But sir, weren't you charged with a new scandal? I understand. The scandals may look at this way, but maybe, just maybe, if you look at what we've done to accomplish to help Canadians everywhere, I think you know that these scandals are just showing a different light at our situation.
But Trudeau, you gaslit us. You locked us down. You're killing us. You're destroying our quality of life. It's for your own good.
Well, if you really know, it's for the greater good. It is for the greater good. It is probably the final solution for our agenda, plan that's coming to action.
This is a great opportunity for a reset. This fucking guy, man.
I'm more, actually, you know what? I kind of expect it from Trudeau now, but I'm more like disappointed in like good old Dougie Ford.
Oh yeah.
Like what the fuck? Like it's hard to say that he came from the same brass balls and had a brother that led our city to like probably like the best like housing market and TTC and everything. Garbage problem.
Yep.
He even went to like government housing like by himself without security, drove over there, saving money for the city without having a chauffeur, and going. Like he never had a chauffeur, by the way. This is one of the things I like about this guy. Like he wanted to save money for the city, drove himself to where he needed to go, and he goes to ghettos and he knocks on doors and asks. Like what's wrong?
He smokes spliffs.
And he smokes spliffs.
He gets high with people.
And he's high with the local.
And he's a little too far.
And he goes even a little above and beyond where he just gets high with the local crackhead and says,
"I'll try that." What the hell?
Were you telling me that the local dealer was ripping you guys off too? Let me try. Let me see this and see if it's matching the Toronto standards, buddy. That guy was a man of the people. He would actually but this
at the time it was humiliating when he was on Kimmel, but it's like looking back, it's like
I would trade that guy.
I kind of like that. Yeah.
A million times over for every single politician we got today. Name one.
Other than his one line. I did not say that to this woman.
I have more than enough pussy to eat at home. Yeah. More than enough pussy to eat at home.
No, more than enough to eat at home.
More than enough to eat at home.
That was perfect.
You don't say that part. Yeah, but we get what he implied.
Yeah.
That guy was something else. But his brother, let them eat cake, cheesecake specifically. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. Like, this guy is literally calling his own voting base yahoos. How is he even still thinking that he's going to get elected next? Or is it they just don't care anymore? They know that the Great Reset is for a reason, that they don't care about their voting bases. Left, right, we're just one hand washing the other. Yeah. Making sure that if you look at the politics is not
look at the behavior of Trudeau, look at the behavior of Tory, and now look at the behavior of Ford. It feels like it's all kind of in lockstep. They all have the same keeping you safe, stay inside, blah 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 blah. And the thing is, you can go all around the world. Politicians are saying the exact same shit, the exact same way, and build back better. Just 2 more weeks. Flatten the curve, but now not flatten the curve anymore. Now it's like, if we don't all get vaccinated, then we're never going back to normal.
But even if you get vaccinated, you still have to wear a mask.
Yeah. Here we go. More bullshit.
It makes no sense.
We'll save that for next episode. Thanks for tuning in. This is D.
This is G.
I'm G. So plug your social medias.
All right, so you can find me at DatBuzzTV on all social platforms, and check me out.
Wicked. You can find me GDub on TikTok and Twitter, and I also have a YouTube, Greg Wycliffe, which you can look up. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks. Peace.
Later. Sweet. Yo.
First job done.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.